Whenever you are lonely, what comes to mind? Why are we lonely regardless of our contributions to society? Well, today I'm talking about this generation of adults being known as the lonely generation. The generation that is experiencing record suicides in America. The generation that is going to cause fewer kids to be born. The liberal side of the coin would say, "Good, we don't need more people being born in America." The conservative side of the coin would say, "No way, without another generation, America will fail." We don't know how many adults today will likely die later on, but I do believe that this generation of adults, the millennials, will be the first generation in which many people will likely die alone. Why is that? Mainstream media demonizing men as pigs while putting women identifying as feminist on a pedestal thinking they got the power. We are seeing so many screwed up things here in America that it makes me feel bad for men that struggle to stay focused and women that have super self-esteem issues. While social media has served a powerful tool to organize some important movements like fair use on YouTube and Don't Tread on Me, social media has also become the enemy for the conservative minds of Americans. Black Lives Matter, Not My President, Women's March, and homosexual rights have become a nuisance to society. Black Lives Matter was supposed to be a movement about black people that were getting treated unfairly, but it turned into a total disaster with black people destroying their own property for the sake of justice, making taxpayer dollars go toward cleaning towns, causing economic recessions due to social tension. How about feminists going nuts over Donald Trump getting elected in 2016? I mean, yes, we were in for a controversial election the moment Republican Senator Rand Paul had to drop out of the election after someone tried to take a seat in the Senate. But when thousands of feminists go crying on social media and YouTube threatening to kill themselves because their grandma figure didn't get elected, it basically dragged down the overall morale in America. But is that the underlying cause of why the current generation of American adults are lonely? That's something I'm going to discuss in the video. What caused the downfall of the interaction between a man and a woman? Well, let's go back to 2006 when MySpace.com was the premier social media site. This was where people could have fun and joke around, but this is also where people indoctrinated with feminist views could encourage pre-teens and teen girls at the time to talk down to their male counterparts. At first, a lot of pre-teen and teenage boys thought it was a joke, but with time, teen girls started throwing insults. While those teen boys felt down on their luck, teen girls were continuously getting indoctrinated with feminist logic. Then when Facebook and Twitter became the top-tier social media sites, feminists could post over 9,000 tweets saying how rotten men are and why they don't deserve a woman. Twitter spawned a genre of intolerable women that make me want to slit my throat in disgust. If you think feminists have respect for all women, you are sadly mistaken. Women that do not identify as feminist get insulted by feminists even worse than men do. Sure, sometimes men like to joke around about a woman's insecurities, but feminists are ruthless. They know how to exploit a woman's weakness, causing them to feel dirty emotionally. It's sick. It's really sick! The worst part about all this is that feminists are still garnering so much power from the media that anti-feminist women are afraid to say yes to men that genuinely want to go on a date with them. Is this how women should be treated? By letting feminists talk anti-feminist women down to a point where they have to be incognito just to cozy up with a man on the couch while watching a movie? Men can't even be nice to women anymore. Feminists believe that men have power over women if they are assholes willing to talk them down. Why did this come about? Even before social media. A few generations of women had this notion to believe that if a man is an asshole, that means they like you. Then the woman chooses the guy that has the looks, but then gets either abused or cheated on. When that happens, women feel dirty psychologically, and with time, they naturally reject the nice men for other men that have a history of abuse. So this bold-faced lie that liberal mothers taught their teenage daughters caused numerous emotional problems that we call Stockholm Syndrome. And rather intervene with relatives, they'll join feminist movements thinking they are safe with them. The reality is that if you identify as a feminist just because of bad experiences, you aren't helping society, you are harming society. Feminist movements have killed more people than every single American war put together. What is the biggest example of all this? Roe v. Wade in 1973. A lady named Norma McCorvey, who went under the pseudonym of Jane Roe, challenged lawmakers to legalize abortion. When the Supreme Court recognized this as law, that opened up the floodgates for feminists to abort their unborn kids. And the real disgusting thing about this incident in 1973 was that Norma McCorvey never aborted her own kids. She was influenced by feminists to start this movement. McCorvey's hypocrisy ultimately led to her regretting legalizing abortions, but she's responsible for the 60 million plus abortions that have been administered since 1973. But let's get back on topic here. The feminist movements like Women's March have become so dangerous socially in America that men are actually getting fed up. The patriarchy is struggling while a new men's movement is exploding. This movement is called Men Going Their Own Way, aka MGTOW. While I think MGTOW is too extreme for me to get involved with, MGTOWs are really no different than feminists. MGTOWs and feminists are equally backguano. While feminists continue to defend abortion, homosexuality, empowerment in the workplace, and fat acceptance, MGTOWs want to isolate themselves and bounce off the walls without giving a damn about the opposite gender. Nothing will ever humble these people. Anti-feminist women are hiding in the corner trying to cope with self-esteem issues brought on by insults from feminists. Meanwhile, patriarchs are fighting feminists verbally to try to bring them back into reality. The reality is, America is in trouble from a social standpoint. Sure, we'll work the same jobs, but no one ever has time for friends anymore. Without friends, how do you network? If you don't network, how will you get better jobs? Jobs that have higher quality pay. Women are rising in the ranks of corporate America. Women are still fighting to get paid more than men. Women are trying to keep men from getting jobs. Is that true? I can't tell you that. But the fact is that more women are working in America than ever before, while the jobs percentage for men are reaching record lows. The bitterness that is brought on by government regulations, feminist influence, and corporations pandering to women for barely putting effort into their work while men constantly get bashed because they are pigs makes me sick. Do I hate all women? No. I actually feel bad for anti-feminist women because of their insecurities. I want to be nice to them and help them build up their confidence to be someone. A woman can be successful without conforming to being a feminist. A woman can be happy with a man that is genuinely caring and gentle and willing to help them. When I see the constant disrespect that tears apart relationships, it makes me want to cry. And yes, it's alright for a patriarch to be emotional. We are humans. We have a right to be emotional. When kids get indoctrinated with bullcrap either from feminist mothers or MGTOW fathers, they'll either eat up those indoctrinations or resent their parents and take the traditional approach of life. These two groups, the power of social media and the mainstream media, are the reasons why this current generation of adults will likely be the first generation in which the majority will die alone. The only babies that are being born in America are children of illegal immigrants. How pathetic is that when American citizens won't reproduce, yet you have Mexicans and Cubans reproducing on our soil? Do we American citizens have any shame for what we are doing? That's dragging down the overall morale in America. Bottom line, folks, if we don't get up and speak out against both the feminists and the MGTOWs, we are sure as hell destined to die alone. I know I'm going to die alone because I'm too much of an asshole to women in general, even if I just slightly disagree with them. But for those men and women that want to go out, find someone they care about, go on a date, eventually get married, and have children, speak up before it is too late for you. I'm done.